allowed that. What you have?
It is the drug you wish you could inject. Probably not taking a lot here and just.
I just wanted to point out as close up from Alex in second. The Pecco Bagnaia in, who's brought the bike home. In fact, Luke errors.
Yeah, he's made a couple of errors in the race. So yeah, not scoring many points. He's much better this year, and it was very difficult years. And when you know you can be top tier, then you're going to be struggling. I mean, that's just much more to see the
surgery on his injured leg. His charisma and all the journey. It is true. I've a racetrack. You don't want to cross him.
He tees us up all the time. You ask him here to get a job done. But yeah,
Sylvain Guintoli is.
You know, sometimes Alex is a little bit way of being him a few years. Still won it. But on the 2024, he's got a real 0 errors. So yeah,
he made that decision himself to go, and
that bike was not as sort of came back a little bit closer. 2024 Ducati in Barcelona there. Yeah, I think he's not left
second in every
another collection
race.
of second different conditions. So yeah,
right in Jerez. That's when the first
looks like this is the weakest point. You don't have the top end. And you're fighting, and they can sort of come next to you or climb these guys up. And if you're too far,
we never would have said that in the past. Today 354. That's it.
KTM's in the top 4 for the they've done that pretty much
as well, and that's going to be definitely
in the small.
Fabio was held up.
Pitted in. So
Jorge Martin's pace at the moment. Frankie Morbidelli.
And that Michelin's brought here, they've set obviously for the sprint, but riders now are doing a lot of laps on that time.
The timesheets. Morbidelli for Frank 0.7, attracting that it can be enough.
You normally see the riders with the eyes fully up a bit there on that onboard. They've got on the front of the ferry, they have it off here. Trying
sector split, but it has a bunch of right-handers.
Once they get under the lights here, you can, as the weekend goes on from here,
who are both using the soft rear tyre.
And yeah, it's gone back to the meet and see which one they feel.
Is Augusto Fernandez.
Well,
yeah, it's almost identical to Jack. Should have been. He is going to be
a lot of struggle with that hand injury. New engine
is done. I could then think I want to be a test rider. He really, when you've got all the next crop of Moto2.
I mean, the toe slider dragging.
Clear at turn 1. Just have a look at the.
Yeah, they get.
Now it's the medium tyre, same as Mark.
Distance race here on Sunday afternoon.
You would me rub my hands already. Over the years, how many close finishes?
That brings the riders back together in a pack in Moto3, and we do have that in Qatar. Just missed the start of the season. So far, Mark Pecco knows that he can take the fight to it for the race for the championship. So this is
Joe Zarco behind because he won't cost him. He seemed to lose a little bit. Grapple hook into the back of Mark is in. We're getting to that point, aren't we?
Yeah, although it's second gear, you do roll 219 top speed from Binder. So
time for that third sector, Joan Zarco, the Marc Marquez.
Yeah, he's going again now. Sports 2 in the free practice 2 at 1 p.m. ahead of 30 p.m. is at 3, Moto2 is at 4. All of it on TNT Sports 2 action for you here this week. Gonna want to miss any marker. Talk about as much as we used to.
No, on the become, especially in the latter part, and sometimes it has been the dew point over the
great
disc they typically run here. Sylvain, is it the big ones?
Retrack now, and they just run the. So when I use them very rarely.
Yeah, I don't think they really get.
They look like as big as the rim here, so everybody has to run them there. What's he called? Unsuspended. That's unsprung. He's better. So he's
turn 3, and here is Jorge gets used to the.
Because you come out of turn 2, and when you're on the curb.
It was a good racetrack for the RSV4, wasn't it?
That there, like Phillip Island, a brand, a manufacturer can have.
His body positioning is same on this machine.
It's just such a shame that he's doing a great. That he's
almost lay it down into the corners, isn't it?
Is he putting the bike on the fat part of the
had a
2022 circuit. The top 3 as they've been throughout the top 5, top 6.
What Pedro Costa was having a problem with the front end tyres, and that's where that could be something that does work, because that
even in these early rounds went well, and that always plays into an AS
up that tyre.
Yeah, talking about helmets coming up, it's going to be so. You're going to have a couple of goes. They've lost a little bit of outright performance.
Let's see now. Jack,
Yamaha rider for a long time now.
personalities in MotoGP go, it's
Running out of manufacturers, you know.
yeah.
Character as well for the champ.
Alex Marquez, 18th. Obviously, Jorge Martin on his lap 10. Fabio Quartararo's gone up into 7th, so we'll keep an eye on Pecco Bagnaia. Ayagura, the timesheets are 151.2.
Still half a
To
second.
the top now, 150 but in. It's the first night of action.
Third and fourth, they're in touch at the moment ahead.
A sector, and then he had to roll out of it. Well, you did have briefly Rins Miller and Chad Antonio, and then this man, Pedro Acosta. Again, Marc Marquez, a fast first, aggressive in the
race. A little bit afraid in the garage if that continues, but
pace during the one lap. As it stands, Vinales has replaced the Frenchman, Marc Marquez. He comes to the final corner now. Final corner, and he just misses out. So
top 5 with this lap. Oh, so the first
Ducati's top 5 again. Yeah, just in discussion.
Agura and Morbidelli.
Morbidelli, yeah. Is to go down, isn't it? Any point? Yeah, is this? Do we not? Let's not bother
Showing him the splits as well to try and beat Mark.
Because neither of them, and Jorge Martin crashing out here to go again with Jorge Martin now. Again, if they're talking about this being a test for in that second sector.
Yeah. Yeah, still you override the bike, so you
Hey Martin, yeah, no, yeah.
You would now.
Been injured, you came back, immediately got injured, you normally would be, and that's where he's at right.
Just waiting, a few riders have gone back out in the sprint. I think it will be the race tyre.
There's not a massive gap, so
Yeah, 5 that one.
5, yeah.
Here, you have to hold it tight on.
Now the long.
That's when the Yamaha starts to perform.
Yeah, goes off and they lose a little bit of the.
Comfortable into the.
Here is Fabio Quartararo, currently stay inside that top 10 and go Gura. His teammate top Aprendez.
Looks like a
flag out on the racetrack, and so Miller outside of the 10.
second crash of the day. Tip the bike in, still tries as well, where in Qatar you season in that phase. This is where can so far.
You say Fabio's or keep it upright at least, whereas yeah, it's so impressive.
Yeah, maybe explain
the electronics engineers can dial it in, and with the Yamaha it doesn't do that. Puts too much
getting stuck in, whether it be practice, whether it's turn 2.
That way too.
Franco Morbidelli ahead of Juan Mir. Way. Marc Marquez is. Yeah, I'll put the same in just to use me. Needs to be Evans.
He's looking good, and
Ayagura again. Now, currently 12 stays. Aldeguer maybe.
He's glued to the back of.
Be a big omen for the down towards turn 1, and that's the temperature descends here. We used to race here about 10 p.m.
Yeah, there was some kind of like deposit really on the for the tires. So at the moment it's pretty much perfect condition, like a little fog around.
It's an evening, and it's just so hot.
No, too much. And I do think that we're going to see some very.
It was a 152.2, so just bear those in mind. I'll help them even further, because being testing usually a couple of weeks before. Because
23 we visited in the latter stage when we turn up here, so they have lacking in grip in free practice 1. So hot
today, still to Juan Mir. He's still on. Told I spoke to some cat before the week to riding in MotoGP, get used to everything. Been told. My take as well.
Yeah, obviously there's a financial impact, so Lucio will have to finance those confidence that the other Honda riders have. Then throughout the season, the latest that when you crash, you've got replacement parts. He's actually shown better than we.
Instantly a much better lap time on the kind of pace that we're expecting. Garage, and there is for start to the year, and
some promises, obviously some mistakes, but you got. I mean,
he looked feisty, didn't he?
Looks like he's he's clear this afternoon as well. So yeah, Aldeguer Ducati 2024, and
so far the evening is close to that final corner. First rider in Thailand, a bit reduced. He made his mistake. It's looking like he could dominate. It's that old.
That quite a lot in 2017 to 20. Some cat Chandra feeling for you.
Yeah, where Jack Miller went down earlier.
Yeah. Per old Somcat. But yeah, you got to say the 5 in the early rounds and possibly circuits for Jorge. Connection with the rear tyre on entry is his natural moment
then for Jorge Martin down at all within half a second quicker than he did
this afternoon. But first session was that's really strong, because with position, with his wrist movement with his wrist, and we know how important it is hanging off the bike to help the bike turn, and that would be very painful, riding in zones and going sideways and to muscle around. So Yeah, seem like, especially this year, it looks like it's in like, you know, some sort of like, gotta try and stay as smooth as possible. The best one or one of the best ones, because it's at all resurface, not long to the worst, but you've got tracks like 40 miles, say, on the easier.
This is the one in here,
Turn
into
10,
this
left wrist. This is the injured.
there, and he has got it there eventually, hasn't it? But
His wrist on the left side, the way he knocked. So at the minute he is slightly restricted, and he's not far away in 14th at the moment in the last year. So he does have a few.
it's a different bike, isn't it? The times. Look at the dust still coming off the. But it's just show forming out on the circuit.
He's done 13 laps in Sepang, including being properly on the GP bike at speed.
Think back to his second race here in his locker, hasn't he?
Yeah, in round one, you think I think his stature, they need to get the corner entry dialed in as
Leo Quartararo, he was down in from Yamaha rear grip. But he said it in America as well. I need to work from a base.
Yeah, and it's Fabio was so fast there. So there must have been some big hopes that the track. You got obviously.
That's why Dixon.
The tyre on the left is never there if you carry a little bit too much lean. Bit of a bump. Yeah.
Body language rounds, but you have to say
The P7 when he crashed, and in America not scoring many points. Joan, that the potential is much better this, because you know, as a rider he can enjoy it if you I mean, last year he was different. You can see he's just much more feedback. You can see the bike moving around.
Marini was talking about how good it was to have he did in Le Mans back in 1990, and all the journalists bar none. And it is true. Alberto is funny. He's a good guy. You're going to get angry, Alberto.
Yeah, like literally, he really just doesn't have it. But yeah, I've seen that.
Sylvain,
Definitely. And Alex Marquez, it's easy to compare them of Mar, but Alex is just a different kind of being, and Moto2 took him a few years. Still current 2025 been since he's jumped on that bike, doing a great season, and he's deserving leading
himself to go and ride.
We know that bike was not really close to the 25. They've actually the 20, and yeah, it's a
and Aldeguer has replaced the French from this session. One to keep an eye on. Top here. Let's have a see. Marc Marquez second behind his teammate.
So the first sector maybe get a bit.
So we've got Ducati's top 5. Martin on a fast lap there, and
it's 2.8 now at the
on any point this weekend. What's this now from Bagnaia? Is this doing not
footrest or? And looking good, looking real. Looks like we're going to have a proper fight.
Neither of them will want to give a. Remember Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin? 2 seconds off, but
it's going to be tight for Jorge to finish that.
This being a test for him. Feel for it. Yeah, he's already lost
the first one, and then time, but obviously time attack as well. So you have to be physical.
Jorge Martin, and it makes you feel a little. And even if an inkling,
back including race time, obviously for the sprint, I think it perhaps on
Sunday.
Sunday.
It seems like it's not nice that you see that trap break.
Sorry,
it's turn 6. Yeah. Hold it tight on the curb there to come back
for Fabio.
Against hope that the grip improves.
Touch of the throttle, they can carry their momentum in the rest of the machine, then it does hamper.
Comfortable into the top 10 with that lap.
The challenge, isn't it? Here is Fabio. Is it going to be enough for in 14th place? But
better from Raul Fernandez. His rookie teammates been,
it felt like the start of the weekend. Raul Fernandez.
Mark looks like that was a used time to improve.
Track, and it's not Jack Miller again. So Miller hates himself. Turn 4 was early, wasn't it? That's the phase of the
Qatar. You've got to treat confidence since the start of the season. Yamaha riders, and that's
stop with the rear
grip.
So it took place today already, and it is an area where
maybe explain that, Michael, for people.
Negative torque from the engine, the electronics engineer to pull the bike to decelerate, and
he doesn't care, does he? That's all I'm. Chantra.
That wakes you up. That does.
Yeah. Here is Franco Morbidelli ahead of for Jack Miller. Tucker was playing any mind games by not going with a soft. Brilliant, but needs to be ahead of Marc Marquez
to play whenever that happens. He's working on their Sunday pace with the medium.
Into shape, didn't he? Did that a lot on the Moto2. Right, there are a couple of indicators. Yeah, maybe. The way he's been
looking strong. Binder is glued. The KTM compares to the
Ducati Lenovo machines.
Know that every kind of little bit of
it and has just gone straight back at Brad Binder. So Binder needs another rinse on the bubble. That is. at the end of day one here. Has topped to second, but Frankie Morbidelli, here he comes. Last year's pole position of Jorge Martin on top. Oh no, it's Brad.
Mark.
Yeah. Also, apologies.
Yeah, both he and Mir were